Welcome to episode 82 of The Fun Waste of Time. I'm Taurus, and on this episode of the show, we're going to be talking about what we've been playing, what we've been watching. We've got a topic that we're going to discuss that we're all excited about. It's the potential of a DC and MCU movie crossover, because we're closer than ever to that actually happening. And then, of course, we're going to get into our open forum topics, the things that we want to share with you guys that maybe you might want to go pick up and experience for yourselves. But before we get into all of that, let's check in with the fellas. What is happening, guys?
Boris, what's up, man?
Jason, I am loving the look. You look good in robes, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Can you tell I'm getting excited about the September Grand Sumo tournament or nah? Or am I a little too subtle here?
I want to hear all about this on open forum. I hear that that's
what we're
going to discuss it, so we can go into that. What's going on, Anthony? How have you been?
I've been good, man. Had some tough times there for a little bit with some home theater controversy over my my hush box, but I think everything's been worked out.
Did you get it worked out?
I did.
Anthony,
I just put that dude on blast.
Terrible, man.
I just put that dude on blast, man.
Now, well, listen, I'm glad you brought that up, because for those who didn't hear, there was a bit of a home theater conflict or controversy that I was involved in over the last few weeks or so. There was a home theater business, and he and I corresponded a little bit about him building a hush box for me potentially. And it was a wonderful correspondence. Everything went great. We had a great conversation. And then over the months, things changed where I decided to go a different direction. And unfortunately, he got a little upset once I actually had my own hush box built. And the one thing that I was not going to do is bring him down just to lift myself up. I wanted to respond kindly, but I wanted to respond in kind to what he had brought to the attention of folks that he does business with. And if you want to hear all about that, in the last episode, I actually explained everything that happened with it. So please go check that out, hear what happened and hear what I had to say. But what I don't want to do is bring you guys down, because the name of the podcast is The Fun Waste of Time.
That's right.
Not to depress you, bring you down, and literally waste your time. But why don't we get to the fun stuff?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get things started with video games. And what we're going to do this episode, guys, we're going to just talk about the games that we've been playing over the last few weeks. We're not going to have a big video game topic this episode. We're going to save that for the movie portion. So let's get into what we've been playing.
Video games. The Fun Waste of Time podcast. Pick up the controller. Video games. Video games. Video games.
So I want to start with our good buddy, Anthony. Anthony, what have you been playing over the last few weeks, good buddy?
So I actually took advantage of my Game Pass subscription for a little while, and I started playing the not so new, but the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and 4. I played the campaign modes in both of those, and I had a lot of fun with it. You know, I'm not a first-person perspective gamer. I don't like the first-person shooters just because I think I really enjoy the wider field of vision that you get from a third person. It kind of reduces your blind spots, especially when you're talking about, you know, these combat mission type games. So at times I had to adapt a little bit to trying to figure out where some of the shots and the action was coming from, especially when they're long range targets. It was a little difficult, but I had a lot of fun with it. The campaigns are a little dark than I expected. I was like, wow, this is some pretty heavy subject matter, but still is pretty good. I like the gameplay throughout it. It didn't take long to adapt to it. Although, to be honest with you, there were times where they offer you so many weapons and I wasn't quite sure which one to use. I'm like, should I drop this one and pick this one up? And I kind of got the hint that after when some missions especially, it's much better to pick up the gun they're offering you right before. So the thing I liked about it too is I kind of got in a habit of, at first when I was playing it, when I would fail a mission, I would go ahead and try to restart it and pretty much do it almost exactly the same with just changing a few things. But then I kind of realized that if you take a step back on some of these missions and realize that there's multiple entry points, multiple ways of conducting and finishing the mission, so it kind of gave me a good perspective to kind of take a step back for a second, maybe not go back through and try the same thing I did before, but kind of change my approach, change the weapons I was using or the way I was going in and approaching it. So I had a lot of fun with it. I do wish that, because you pretty much use the same team all the time, but they assign you a different character in the team. I just wish you could choose your own, because I'm all about customization and all that. But I guess in a first-person shooter, customization doesn't really matter because you don't really see yourself. But
you can customize your gun. You can customize your gun.
Yep.
Yeah, you can. You can. That's very true. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think that's about all I can really say about that one.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you play any multiplayer at all? Did you jump into any matches or play with any teams, any co-op aspect of the game?
I did. I did with a friend of mine. I did a personalized match. I don't like playing online too much. I'm not a big fan of that yet. I haven't played online with strangers since Destiny 2. And the good thing about Destiny 2 was you didn't really have to have a lot of conversation. It was pretty straightforward what you had to do. One of these days, if I get a little bit more comfortable, if I keep playing them, I may try to dip my toe into that arena again.
So you played co-op with a friend. You played the co-op campaign,
yes.
Or did you? Okay. How was that experience?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It really was. Because again, there are some weaknesses that I have, and he had some weaknesses he had, and I think we kind of divvied up the missions pretty well, and it was fun. It was a good bonding experience. But haven't played the full online experience yet.
That is fantastic. So let me ask you, what made you want to play this? Was it your friend that pulled you to it, or was it something that you saw and said, I want to just check this out? Or
yeah, he kind of did, but it was mostly out of me realizing, I was like, man, so I hadn't picked up my Xbox probably in about 3 months since college football came out. I've been playing back and forth between college football 26 and Madden. So I was like, I'm paying for this subscription, and I haven't really utilized it. So I just went on there and started playing the solo campaign. Then I asked him if he was still interested in hooking up and playing online, and we did. Had a good time.
Awesome. Fantastic. What's up with you, Jay? What have you been playing these days?
Oh, man, so I got to be honest with you, man. I'm trying really hard not to get invested in anything too much before Ghost of Yotei releases, because I don't want to be into anything else. As soon as that game comes out, I want to jump right into it. So I've been, I won't say I've been playing like throwaway games, but kind of a quick pick up and play type of thing. The last episode I talked about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which was fantastic. Finished that up in about a week, but I've been playing a game called Eartheon. Now, it's a limited run game. It's a shoot 'em up. Now, what some of our younger listeners are going to have to understand here is when us old guys say shoot 'em up, we're not talking about Call of Duty or anything like that. We're talking about what you see on the screen here. You're a spaceship, you're going either vertically or horizontally, and you're shooting everything that comes at you. It's kind of a 16-bit graphics style. A lot like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and as a retro guy, I'm drawn to these types of things. And as Taurus especially knows, I love me a good shoot 'em up, whether it's twin stick, whether it's horizontal like this, or whether it's vertical, and sometimes even rail shooters, things like Panzer Dragoon. Rez is one that comes to mind that's come out somewhat more recently. So yeah, this is the kind of thing I love. It's only about $20. I've been playing it on the Switch too, but I believe it's out on every platform, including Steam. So yeah, if it's something, if you're like me and you're just waiting for Ghost of Yotei, and you want to play something, that you can just pick up and have a little bit of fun with, get frustrated with, and then turn it off, Eartheon is your game. It's one of those things where, I'm not real good at shoot 'em ups. This game, because of the way it allows you to continue immediately from where you left off when you die, and the fact that it allows you to take multiple hits from enemies, it makes you think you're good at shooters. Don't get it twisted. You're not. This game is going to destroy you. You're going to get frustrated, but you'll come back the next time, and you'll be able to get through the part that you were stuck on last time. So, yeah, hopefully it's something that the people out there listening, might have some kind of interest in it. It's the kind of thing I get excited about. So, but yeah, that's it, man. It's a stopgap between Ninja Gaiden and Ghost of Yotei for me. So yeah, Eartheon, check it out.
This reminds me of, now Jason said that he loves twin stick shooters. And I remember back in 2011, 2012, maybe somewhere around there, that was a game that Jason was always playing. Every time you saw him online, he was playing this game. It was called Super Stardust HD.
That's right.
A video game company called Housemarque.
Yes.
And every time I would jump online to the PlayStation to play something different, and I was just checking to see what my friends were doing. Sure enough, man, Jason was chasing the leaderboards.
Yeah.
Super Stardust HD.
Yeah, man.
If you're not familiar with that game, go check out some video from it because it is pretty freaking fantastic. And even today, I think it would hold up as a twin stick shooter, as a shoot 'em up game.
Oh, I still play it, man.
Do
And
you
that
really?
game's
No kidding.
oh yeah, and it's been out for something like 15 years. In the original one actually came out on the Commodore CD32, I believe. It's really old, but that's one of the few games where I've actually been pretty high on the leaderboard. I think I took a picture of it, and if I can find it, I'll send it to you guys just to prove it. I was in the top 150 on the endless
Really?
mode. Oh yeah, and I'm not great at video games, but I played that so much, and I came up with so many strategies to stay alive that I ended up getting pretty high up there. Now there was a huge difference between my score and the people that were just like 10 places ahead of me. They were outscoring me by 60 million points. But yeah, that's one of the only times I've ever been on like the top 100 or 200 on a leaderboard. The only other one was on the Batman Arkham Asylum. They had a challenge mode where you could just fight just an endless wave of bad guys, and I was pretty high up there on that one. Oh yeah, yep, here we go. Yeah, you can see the game is just absolute mayhem, but you get used to it. And I think the last time I played it was just a couple months ago. But yeah, this Super Stardust HD is the last thing I thought I'd be talking about this episode. But now I'm all excited. I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to switch that on because now I can play it while I'm watching something else on the TV because I got the PSP.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So,
game was super dang fun, man. I remember playing it
awesome game.
back in the day, and I used to love going back to it because I'm a big twin stick shooter guy too.
Sure.
My
yeah.
game that Housemarque made back in the day, remember, was the zombie game. Help me out, Jason.
Dead Nation.
Dead Nation.
Yep.
Dead Nation
Love
was
that
the
game.
game.
So
Jason
good.
and I played that co-op back in the day.
Yep.
I used to play with my brother. It's a 2-person co-op game that you can play.
Yep.
Just freaking fantastic.
Yep. Awesome.
That is fantastic, Jay.
So, Taurus, what about you, man? What have you been playing?
Absolutely. Well, actually, I told you guys once I actually had my theater finished with all of these most recent upgrades that I was going to start enjoying more content. And sure enough, I have, man. I'm pretty happy with how much time I've actually been spending playing more games and watching more shows these days. So what I've been playing a game called, I think, I even mentioned it to you guys the last time. It's called Echoes of the End.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a pretty fantastic game, man. The cool thing about it is in the same vein as what you would see with like a God of War, and Uncharted, and those kinds of games. And the combat, it takes a little time to get adjusted to the combat, but once you do, it's a really, really fun playthrough, man. And this actually, I took some footage of what it looks like when I'm sitting in my theater playing it.
Oh man.
This is the actual trailer that you're seeing here, but I do have some gameplay of me playing some of the early portion of the game as well. But you can see this is how it looks, man. It fits the full real estate of the screen. The audio is freaking phenomenal. The one thing I love about my theater is when I had it calibrated, I had the gentleman that actually did the calibration for me give me 3 different audio profiles. I've got front row, back row, and then all rows, or all row, right? All room, for when I just want to get the best experience for people that are sitting in all of the seats. But what I like to do is I like to sit in the back row, have my controller, the audio is going. I got those subs in the back just giving me the massage, when I'm hitting some, doing some heavy combat. And it is a truly fantastic experience. But I've been playing this a lot. I probably put about maybe 6 hours. And actually I have. I checked the time on PlayStation. I'm playing this on PlayStation. I put in about 6 hours into this one so far. And I'm going to continue to play. The combat does take a little adjustment. Takes a little while to get used to. That I will say it's not very intuitive. But once you get adjusted to it, it starts to get easier to be able to do. So like I said, this is sitting in the theater. This is my actual gameplay here that I'm showing. Jump ahead a little bit. So this is what it actually looks like with me playing, sitting in the actual theater. So this is actual gameplay. And I'm just running through the early levels here. I didn't get to the point of where there's combat, but look how smooth it looks, man.
Yeah.
And the game it's a 16:9 game on PlayStation, but because I have a video processor and I have a anamorphic lens, all of that real estate of the game fits on that screen. There are no black bars on the sides. There's none on the top and bottom. It's just a really smooth and cool experience.
Yeah.
And like I said, the audio is just freaking cranking on this. So I've been playing Echoes of the End. This is one that I've been playing. And I just recently started back to playing this one here. You guys recognize what this is?
No.
This is Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm playing this one on PlayStation 2. I actually bought this one on PC, and I was playing it there, but for whatever reason, I was having an issue with the controls. I tried to use Ubisoft's Ubisoft Plus platform or whatever it's called, and I was having some difficulty with the Steam controls for the controller for that, for this specific game and that Ubisoft Plus platform. So what I decided to do was to put it aside, and I bought it on PlayStation, and I started playing it there. I'm really early into my second playthrough. I never finished it the first time around. I probably only played a couple hours actually on PC. But now I'm going to go ahead and take my time to play. They made a lot of updates to it. The combat is much more fluid. It's better. The audio design in this game is just freaking phenomenal. I got to say, most Star Wars games, like the last Star Wars game that was made by Activision, that had fantastic audio. This one has fantastic audio being made by Ubisoft. So yeah, it's a pretty cool experience, man, sitting in the theater playing. And I typically keep the lights right at about what you guys see here. I'll turn it up a little bit from time to time, but I like a little bit of light when I'm playing. And this is just a phenomenal experience. I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, I'm just getting back to playing and watching more content. Now that my theater is at a place where I'm very happy with it.
Nice.
So that is what we've been playing, guys. What we're going to do is we are going to move it on to what we've been watching.
Movies and TV. In a world where movies and TV are on the same level playing field, what are you watching? The Fun Waste of Time Podcast.
All right, so let's go to my good buddy Jay. Jay, what have you been watching over the last few weeks?
So only one thing that's of note, and it was really kind of my wife's idea, because there were some actors in it that we recognized, and of course they're handsome, so she has to watch all the, So it's called the Terminal List, Dark Wolf. Now, it's got Luke Hemsworth, and it's got Chris Pratt. There are, of course, other actors in it, but those were the ones that got my wife to watch. And as I've said before on the show, it's kind of tough for us to find anything to watch together. And so, we work opposite shifts, and a lot of times we're just too tired to fire up the TV and do anything. So what I did, and you home theater guys are gonna hate me for this, but I got one of those little projectors that they use for like PowerPoint presentations, and I put it on a shelf right above our bed, and it projects onto the wall in front of our bed, and then we just use a Bluetooth speaker for the audio, and that's how we watched this. And we're gonna try to this was kind of like the initiation of that chintzy home theater quote unquote system that I got going on. But unfortunately, it's a week to week, so I've only watched the first episode and like half of the second one, but I'm really liking it so far. I can't say too much about it yet. It's one of those things that I wish I would have discovered after all the episodes came out, so I could just binge it. But unfortunately, I discovered it when it was pretty new. So I'm enjoying it, though. But that's honestly all I've watched. Since we're doing these episodes closer together, man, sometimes, there's times I'll go 2 or 3 weeks without watching anything new, unless it's YouTube. So,
so Jason,
yeah.
I know that's Taylor Kitchen there from Friday Night Lights. Is that other guy from the one from Umbrella Academy?
I'm
Yeah,
not.
the dude from Umbrella Academy, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm interested in watching this one too, Jason, but I was going to wait until all of the episodes are out.
How many are down?
About? Are we on? I think we're on episode 3 at this point.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But there's at least
you're
2.
liking it so far?
I am, yeah. I really liked the first one, but I think the tone, it looks like the tone of the show is going to change up a little bit after the first episode. I think that was just trying to get us to know the characters and what their past is. So I'm looking forward to it. At first, I thought it'd be kind of like a modern A-Team, but from the reviews I've read, I don't think it's going to be quite like that. So my excitement's down just a little bit.
Is Chris Pratt in a lot of it so far?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yep.
That's not a positive for me, so I was hoping the answer was going to be no.
Well, maybe he gets killed off. Who knows? We'll see. We're only a few episodes in, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to get killed off because I think it's a prequel, isn't it?
That I don't know.
A prequel to the Tomorrow War?
Is
that what it is?
I know it's a prequel. I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's a prequel.
I go into these things blind a lot of times, man. I didn't even know what it was, so yeah. I guess we'll find out.
Be wrong.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's not like this episode's being recorded or anything. What have you been watching, Anthony?
So, a couple things. I have been watching, so this first one, K-Pop Demon Hunter. I have seen this before, but I never had the opportunity to talk about it on the show because we were on a little bit of a hiatus, I think, when it came out. And I think Giles had mentioned it, and I didn't really get a chance to join the discussion on it too much. But
it was funny because when I listened back at that episode, you and Giles were like, yeah, I watched the first couple episodes of K-Pop.
Yeah, I know. I meant first couple minutes of it, and then I didn't finish it at that point because I think I turned it on right before it started. And then I was like, wait, what? But yeah, it's got an amazing cast. Daniel Day Kim from Hawaii Five-0 and Raya the Last Dragon and Butterfly. Lee Byung-hun, from who's Storm Shadow and G.I. Joe and the frontman in Squid Game. Ken Jeong has a small little part, the guy from The Hangover, and Arden Cho. I think she was in Teen Wolf. She's relatively new. The animation's really awesome. I like the look of the animation. The voice cast was amazing. The soundtrack is slamming. I mean, seriously, so many catchy songs, and it's funny. You see it going everywhere. They even have a sing-along version of the movie if you want to do it. And I think they did re-release it to the theaters, and it was actually #1 the week it was released, but they couldn't count it because Netflix doesn't count their views or something. There was some kind of weird rule about it or something. But overall, I really loved it. I watched it about 3-4 times now. But it's got a nice story to it. It's a cute little story, but there's a couple scenes in there. It's a little tear-jerking at times, but I thought it was a good story. I'm sure as popular as it is, I think they've already greenlit a sequel. So I just thought it was just a really cool concept of mixing K-pop and anime, and it's just a great blend of it. So
I actually watched this as well. Did you watch it in your theater?
I did.
How did it rock in there?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. I told Eileen we had to watch it up there. She's, depending on what she does, because Scooby-Doo doesn't like to go up to the theater. It doesn't go up to like the second level anymore. So
For those who don't know,
sometimes she feels
Scooby-Doo
bad.
is his dog.
Yeah.
He named his dog Scooby-Doo.
So sometimes she'll just ask to watch it downstairs. But I mean, just to hear the music and everything in that surround sounds, it was awesome. So
I actually watched this too. It was a really fantastic watch. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I watched it upstairs in my theater. And man, it is jumping, bro. Fantastic
I loved it.
soundtrack. The audio is just kicking, and I got to give Netflix credit. Their streaming has gotten a lot better over the years. They've actually been the leader when it comes to making sure their streams, when it comes to their audio and their video, is on another level compared to some of the other streaming platforms that are out there. So you can watch a Netflix stream, and while it's not a Kaleidoscape or it's not a physical disc, it's still a really, really good experience the majority of the time. So I got to give them credit for that, because this was a fantastic watch.
yeah, it was the animation, like I say, the picture clarity and the sound was awesome. The only thing I have against Netflix sometimes is, man, that menu. It's hard for me to find new stuff sometimes, but I wish
Yeah.
they change it up a little. Just have like a new arrivals just all across, but you've got to go to the category, and they're always switching it up. But
Yeah, that's typically what people critique them about is their app
Yeah.
could be a lot better.
But these days, I've been cutting a corner on a couple other streamers for some reasons or another. So looks like I have more time to surf around Netflix to find some stuff. But the next one I watched is Butterfly on Amazon Prime. I've been interested in this one for a little while, but just like Jason said, with what was it called? The Dark. I forgot the name of it already.
No, it's
The one you
the
watched,
Terminal
Terminal
List,
List?
Dark Wolf.
Dark Wolf. Yeah, matter of fact, Terminal List is the name of the original. I don't know why
Yeah.
I said Tomorrow War. It's right there in the title. Good job, me. But I didn't want to be in that same scenario that you said, Jason, where you kind of get hooked on it and then you got to go week to week.
Right.
Kind of like Tara said, he waits to binge stuff. I kind of did that with this one, and it was a nice movie. Nice movie. There you go, mixing movies and series up. It was a nice series. Again, Daniel Day Kim. He's the common thread between a lot of what I'm watching this month. He was in there. Charles Parnell from Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible. Kim Jong-hoon, who anybody who's seen, there he's right there, who was in Money Heist Korea. Park Hae-soo, also from Money Heist Korea, and Squid Game had a real small part in there. And then Raina Hardesty is the main character right there. She's a relative newcomer, but the cast was great. It's a spy thriller. The first action scene with her in there in the first episode, the opening scene, was just wicked awesome. I just loved it. It's about, it follows Daniel Day Kim. He's a former intelligence operator. He's living in Korea and trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter. So it's got a lot of good twists and turns to it. I love the actress who played his daughter, Rebecca. But I will say she does at times, because it's kind of hard to get a beat on her. And I think they're trying to keep her kind of mysterious. She can be annoying at times throughout the series, or the season, I should say. But the actress herself was awesome. I've never seen her in anything else before, but I really enjoyed her performance. It did end on a cliffhanger, so I'm going to be really pissed off if Amazon Prime does not renew this for a second season.
Oh man, yeah.
So if you're looking for something that's already down and has some good action scenes, some good character development, go ahead and check that one out. And lastly, I probably shouldn't have put this last, because I don't like that end on a bad note, but last was Bet on Netflix. It's a series based on a manga. I think the original title was Kakeguru. And this is one of those things where it's like, I get that media is different, and adaptations are not direct, and I hate to always sound like that guy who's complaining about adaptations of material, but this was just a horrible one. You know, it's like, if you're not going to keep the same spirit from the original material, why do it? Why even connect to it? Just do something different.
Yeah.
The main actress, actually, Miku Martineau, she actually was pretty good in it. That's her right there. She kind of reminds me of Lisa Minoban from Blackpink. She gave some little elements of her to me. She was good in there, but they just didn't give her a whole lot. The casting, it's just weird. And I get it. They're trying to westernize an Eastern story, but it came across as, in a way, I guess, whitewashing, if you want it, for lack of a better term. Especially, there's a character in there named Suki, who is played by Ryan Sutherland. I'm like,
Okay.
that did not make any sense at all. There are some things that, again, I get they were trying to keep the flavor of the original manga, you know, but if it's not done right, it comes off as just cheesy. They changed the whole backstory, the characters, the motivations. It's more of a revenge tale now than it was a interesting take on gambling compulsions and the thrills that were associated with it and the characters' motivations. They focused more on like the social hierarchy and stuff like that. I just wish they would have focused a little closer to the manga, would have put more Asian people in there, because you still kept the names and a lot of the principles, but it just came off weird. And it's like a Sony version. The way I can translate it is, it's like a Sony adaptation of Marvel material.
Gotcha.
That's what it was. Okay. And it's a shame because it had possibility, and I think that actress was phenomenal. But overall, the series was just hard for me to get through.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny you mentioned that, Anthony, because if you're not up on South Korean, even Asian TV shows and dramas, you're missing out on a lot of really, really good TV. Oh my gosh, these South Korea, Japan, these countries are doing some phenomenal things when it comes to their TV shows and their movies. And I absolutely love watching Korean TV shows and Japanese TV shows. My wife actually turned me on to it because she's been a lover of that content for years now. But yeah, there's some amazing Korean television out there. There's quite a bit on Netflix. There's some out there on Hulu that you can go back and watch. Right now, not to steal your thunder, Anthony, but I'm watching a show called Trigger. That's on Netflix right now, which is about this gun epidemic coming into Korea. And Korea has it's a no-gun country, right? So you can't have guns out there. A lot of people, when they're fighting, usually they use knives and weapons of that nature. But they're just a fantastic show. There's another show that I watched called Vigilante. That was a really cool show. Bloodhounds. I could go on and on and on with all of the fantastic shows that have come out of South Korea. And even Japan. Japan's got some great ones too. There's one on Netflix that if you've not watched called Alice in Borderlands. That's a really fun one if you haven't checked that one out. And there are just so many others. But I'm glad that you're watching some of this content, Anthony, and sharing your opinions on it because it's really interesting to hear.
Thanks. That's all I've been watching. How about you, Tars?
Okay. Well, I've actually been watching, like I said, guys, I've been on a roll over the last month since I've had my theater done. Just been watching a whole bunch of content, man. A lot of TV shows, a lot of movies. But what I'm going to do for the sake of time is I'm going to condense a lot of the content that I've been watching to, I'll say we'll do a few things that I've actually been watching. Aliens Earth. Have you guys been watching Aliens Earth?
So I'm doing the opposite as I've been doing with everything else I've watched. I was going to wait till Alien Earth was done and then binge it. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. And what I did, Jason, is something similar to that. I actually waited until there are about maybe 6 episodes or so of the show out there. And then I actually started watching it at that time. And man, I am so glad I did, man. This show is just freaking phenomenal. And it's so good that when you're done with an episode, you come back and then you want to watch more.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I had at least 5 or 6 episodes to watch because I just wanted more, man. I kept coming back. And what's really cool about Aliens, the Aliens franchise and the Predator franchise now, they're both owned by 20th Century, which is Disney. And they're doing a fantastic job with these properties. Whereas in the past, it was just kind of a second thought for these movie studios to make these movies. They really didn't put a whole lot of energy and time and resources and thought into the stories in some of the previous movies. But now, with what Dan Trachtenberg is doing with Predator and with what Noah Hawley, I think his name is, he's either directing or show running the show is just really good. It's really suspenseful and it fits what's going on with Predator. So if they ever did an Aliens and Predator crossover, which I'm pretty sure they will because they're both owned by 20th Century, by Disney now, and they've had crossovers in the past, it's going to be something special, man. It's really going to be something special. And this really just got me hyped for when Predator's Badlands is going to be coming out in November.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how well this show is done. The audio is phenomenal. The video looks really good. And a lot of that, like I said, has a lot to do with my theater and the flexibility that I have when it comes to the audio with all of the different presets that I have and all of that. I can adjust the bass as high or as low as I need it. My Atmos heights, I can adjust the volume on that to make it as crisp and clean as I need it. I got the second center. It's just a freaking phenomenal experience all the way around. And one of the reasons I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in the theater is so that you can get an idea of what I'm actually experiencing when I'm sitting in the space enjoying the content. I just recently watched episode 7. Episode 7 came out this past week. And a new episode comes out on Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be the last episode. Excuse me. So that was the reason I waited until there were about 5 or 6 episodes, Jason, so I didn't have to wait too long before the show actually ended and catch the last few episodes.
It's a good idea.
Glad I did, man. Just freaking phenomenal. Oh my gosh. If you're not watching Aliens Earth, now's the time to jump on it, guys. If you like Aliens, if you like the whole Predator franchise, they fit in each other's world. And this is done extremely well. And you know what's really cool about this show? Is it's not just about the Predator, the Xenomorph. They're introducing other aliens into the lore, into the world building, where if they ever wanted to create some other stories in the Aliens and Predator world, now they've actually introduced different characters and creatures to where they potentially could do that. Because there's one creature in here that's not a Xenomorph. Oh my gosh, man. That thing is freaky, intelligent and freaky. And if you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I'll leave it there. But Aliens Earth is a freaking fantastic watch.
Can you play that again or show Timothy Oliphant on there for a sec?
Sure.
I just want to point something out. I saw Timothy Oliphant on here. I haven't watched the series, but I've seen him in interviews, and I've seen what he looks like. Man, that dude, the way he looks in here, right there, Magneto, perfect. Love to see that dude be Magneto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there has been
Timothy Oliphant.
like a campaign of folks wanted to see him as Magneto. I can see it.
Yeah,
I
love
can see it. He was really good. You know, he made a movie that was so underrated that people really don't talk about much, but I thought he was the best character in the role. He played Hitman.
Oh, yeah. No, he was good in Hitman, too.
I don't know if you guys remember the video game Hitman. They actually did a couple of movie adaptations of it.
That's right, yeah.
He played
was
the
the best
first
one.
iteration of the character, and he was fantastic in it.
Yep.
Just a really good actor.
I liked him in I Am Number 4 as well.
Yeah, he was good in that too. So this is another show that I've been watching. Peacemaker, season 2. Man, this show is so fun, guys. This show is so freaking fun. If you enjoy what James Gunn is doing with the DCU, with the DC universe, his movie universe, there's no reason for you not to be watching Peacemaker. Season 2 is out, and it's just as good as season 1. I love season 1. But season 2 is turning out to be just as good. They're on episode 5, and I think they're going to do about maybe 8 or 10 episodes. Thinking there are probably about maybe 5 more episodes left since they've just recently come out with 5. but the story is really good. The action is really good. The supporting characters, the ancillary characters, like that character there, just freaking awesome. And the actors in it, they do a phenomenal job. Really, really enjoy this show. If you're not watching Peacemaker, check it out. Season 2 is just as good as season 1. It's still early on. It's only about halfway through. But I think there's a big plot twist that's probably going to be coming around the second half of the show that everybody is waiting to find out if it's true or not. There's some fan theories that have been going around, and we're going to find out if it's actually going to come to fruition. But just a phenomenal show. The next thing that I've been watching, that I watched was Megan 2.0. If you've not seen Megan 2.0, it's actually really good. For whatever reason, it got really bad reviews. And not really bad reviews, but the reviews weren't as good as the first one. I understand why. The reason for that is the first one was a straight up horror movie. It was a straight up kind of horror, almost like a slasher movie in a way.
Yeah.
And the second one has elements of that, but it's more of an action movie. It's almost like a Terminator movie. So it's not really horror. It's more suspenseful. It's more of a thriller. It's more of an action movie. And if you like action, if you like suspense with, I'll say horror vibes, because it's not really scary, then Megan 2.0 is one for you to watch. Really, really fun movie, excuse me. And the audio on it was freaking phenomenal too. I really enjoyed the audio on this one. There's a running theme in my theater, guys. It doesn't matter what I watch. It's all going to sound good because of the flexibility that I have to make everything sound good in my space. I end up being a DJ in my theater, like, trying to get my levels right and everything else. And it just comes out beautifully. And another thing that I've been watching, and I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would because a good friend who's in the movie group that I'm in, where we watch movies once a week, once every couple of weeks, whenever we're free. He said he saw this in the theater and he didn't enjoy it. And when I watched it, I understood why he probably didn't enjoy it in the theater. But I had a complete opposite experience to him. This movie was freaking fantastic. I had a great time watching this movie. The audio, the bass, the atmos in this movie was just phenomenal. The overhead speakers were going off. You had sounds coming from above you, on the sides of you, behind you. The seats were just rocking. It was pressurizing the room. Just a phenomenal experience. And I hosted the last movie group that we did, movie night, over at my house last Tuesday. And all of the fellows were here. And I had a discussion with my buddy about why he didn't like it. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't know what you were watching, but I said, I can understand watching it in a commercial theater and not having the same experience that you would have had at home. But this movie was freaking great. Great. It was a great send-off. Ethan Hunt.
I want to point out that none of the things you said just now included good storyline, good writing, good anything that people usually go to movies for. So in defense of your friend, and as someone who did not like this movie,
you did.
I get it.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
No,
guys?
I hated this movie.
Did you really?
It was one of the worst. It's the only one worse than this one is the first.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
It felt like paint drying. It was like we knew about it's like a 7-hour movie, I think. And I think about hour 3, we knew what Ethan Hunt needed to do, but it just took forever to get there.
Dude, this movie was freaking I don't know what you guys are watching. The story was great. I'm telling you, man. But see, here's the thing, Anthony. For me, when it comes to movies, the story can be okay. But as long as all of the other elements surrounding the story, the audio, the video, the immersion that you feel, the way the sounds move you, when you're watching content, all of that can improve your experience when you're watching movies. And for me, that was the case for this one. Now, this was a long movie, and you did have to be in the right frame of mind in order to watch it. I will say that. And I was when I was watching it, because I sat there for the full 2.5 hours, however long it was. And I maybe took one bathroom break, stopped the movie, came back and finished off where I left off. When you go to the commercial theater, you don't have that experience. The commercial theater, you're kind of at the whims of whatever is going on in that space, right? And a lot of theaters don't really care for their equipment and gear the way that someone that's a home theater enthusiast will, which is why it takes it up another level, a couple of levels for those of us who have a capable system at home. But I absolutely love this movie, man. I don't know what, I can understand why people didn't enjoy it. Let me not say that. I do understand why people didn't enjoy it, but it was a completely, this scene here, oh my gosh, the airplane scene, the submarine scene, man, I'm telling you, when the submarine scene was going off, I was sitting in the theater, dude. I was sitting in my space, and I have this thing about the ocean. If there's anything that freaks me out, nothing freaks me out more than being in the ocean. Okay. And the deep diving that he was doing in this film was just putting me on the edge of my seat the whole time the scene was going on. The audio made me feel as if I was in the submarine, or I was down in the water with him as he was diving to do what he had to do. He actually dives outside of a moving submarine, and there's another submarine behind it, experiencing, I was feeling everything that he was feeling, man. It took me to another level, bro. I don't know what to say to you guys. I really don't, but absolutely love this movie, man. Fantastic. And I also watched, and this was a really good watch. This was really, really good, man. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. The kid, I don't remember his name. I should have gotten his name before we started the movie. Hiccup's the character, yes, but the actor.
No, that's his name in real life.
Yes.
The actor that played him, I didn't know if I would like him as much as Jay. I think his name is Baruchel, the original actor that played him in the animated series. His voice actually made that character much more endearing in the animated series. So I wasn't really sure this kid was going to be able to capture what was done in the animated series. And sure enough, man, he did. He was a fantastic Hiccup, man. I bought and believed everything that went on with this movie. The CGI was fantastic on the dragons. And what was so cool about it is it wasn't a whole lot different than what you would typically see in the animated series. They were extremely similar in the way that they looked, but they just look more realistic in the live action movie. This is a movie I would watch again, man. I would have watched this a few times, actually. I can see people going back to this, enjoying it more than once. The audio, I'll say, wasn't as captivating as some of those other movies that I mentioned to you, but there were some pretty darn good scenes, man. Some good Atmos scenes, and there were a couple of, like this scene here, some bass scenes where the room was just rocking and really getting you involved and immersed in some of the scenes that were going on. And like I said, everything that you're seeing now, guys, this is actually in my theater. This is what I was experiencing when I was watching it. It was a really fun time. I really enjoyed it. So, and this young actress here, the daughter of, who's her daughter?
Thandie Newton.
Thandie Newton's daughter. She's a fantastic young actress, man. She's the young lady that was in The Last of Us. She played Joel's daughter in The Last of Us in the first episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a fantastic movie. Like I said, I've been on a spree enjoying content in theater, and it's only going to get better as the episodes go on, guys. I'm going to have plenty to discuss with you guys.
I like the fact they brought Gerard Butler back too.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That was really cool. And what was cool is, even though he didn't necessarily fit the character from the animated series as much as most people would have thought he would, because the character in the animated series was much larger.
Yeah.
But he still had some heft to him. He felt like a big, strong guy.
Right.
You know, you actually bought that he was as powerful as he was in the movie. So Gerard Butler's say what you will about him, but when you give him the opportunity to act, and it's an accent that's very similar to his own.
Yeah.
He's on roles where his actual accent slipped out and he's trying to play an American.
Oh, all the time. Yep.
But he was fantastic in this. But those are all of the TV shows and movies that I've been watching, guys. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take a little time and we are going to discuss the main topic today. the main topic of the movie and TV segment. So, guys, we live in a world where we could actually see Marvel and DC collaborate on an MCU and DC crossover movie. Never in cinematic history have we been this close to these two pop culture and entertainment media icons potentially collaborating on a film featuring some of their more prominent and beloved characters in either a team up or versus movie. While competing studios collaborating with one another isn't completely out of the ordinary, it's so rare that just about every time it happens, it's a major tentpole event. Think of crossovers like Predator and Alien, right? Those two franchises, as well as Godzilla and Kong with multiple movies and a TV show, Monarch, and the Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man's owned by Sony, and they've done movies in collaboration with the MCU with Disney, where Spider-Man has appeared in some of the MCU movies, and MCU characters have appeared in the standalone Spider-Man movies. Well, just recently, actually, earlier this summer, to be honest, James Gunn, who's the head of DC Studios, did an interview with Rolling Stone magazine where he discussed this very thing, a DC and Marvel film collaboration. In the interview, he says, and I quote, "We've talked about it a billion times," referring to Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige. "That could easily happen, but simultaneously to that, I think it would be interesting. But I also think people are a little over it. I think people want to see good stories with their superheroes, and that's what matters. And they want to see different types of stories with their superheroes. And people love superheroes. That's obvious. But they need more variety, and they need just more quality storytelling. And just having Spider-Man and Superman team up isn't going to do it if it's shit." His words, not mine.
Of course.
So it's got to be from a real place, and it's really hard to make that work, unquote. And then he goes on to say, and I quote, "I did Superman because I love the character. I was also excited about writing that movie. If I were to write a Superman versus Spider-Man movie, is it a concept I'm going to be like, oh yeah, this could be a great film? Or am I doing it because, oh yeah, people want to see Superman and Spider-Man team up? For me, it would have to be, if we were ever to do that, it would have to be under someone who thought it was going to be awesome and it wasn't just a cash grab, because I'm just not into that," unquote. So here's my question for the fellas. What do you think needs to happen between Marvel and DC in order for this collaboration to come to fruition? If you had to guess, how far out do you think we are from this actually happening? And lastly, let's fantasize, guys. Let's talk about some things that we would like to see happen. What Marvel and DC characters do you want to see featured in their own crossover film? I'm going to start with Anthony on this one. Anthony, start out with what do you think needs to happen for Marvel and DC to do this collaboration? And then how long do you think it would take for it to actually happen? And then what characters do you want to see crossed over?
Okay, so I'll take your second question first and your first question second. I think we're a ways off, a good long ways off. And the reason for that is because right now, Warner Brothers is in a very weird position right now. There's talk of buyouts from Paramount, from Netflix has even come to the table to talk about a possible buyout of Warner Brothers. So I think that is going to be a big hurdle, because given the state of where their finances and everything is, I don't see them taking a big leap on this. But if anything would make them more receptive, I think the need to return to those next level comic book box offices. Back early on, you were seeing successful franchises hitting the $1 billion mark. We haven't seen that in a while. So I think the desire to return to that could possibly pave the way. But like I said, the uncertain future of Warner Brothers is kind of a hurdle that would have to be cleared, I would think, before something of this nature would happen. The other thing is, on the positive side, would be the relationship between James Gunn and Kevin Feige. I do believe that they have a very good collaborative and supportive relationship. I mean, when you hear about the competition between DC and Marvel, 90% of the time, that's not real. That's people who that are passive fans. I don't know many people that say that in real life that are actually fans of the genre, that, and by genre I mean the comic book like media, not just movies but books and stuff like that. I don't know very many people that say I just read this or I just like this company. You know, everybody has their preferences of who you like more, but I think most of the time you're going to find things that you enjoy from both. So I think artistically, well, I shouldn't say artistically, I think relationship wise, there is an open door for an olive branch to that. I mean, look, they started these crossovers back in, I think it was at 1976 when Superman versus Spider-Man first was published. And then they continued through 81, 82. And then we saw the last iteration from 94 to 96. Never did I think that would happen again, that we would see those cross-published shared universe books, especially when, you know, the competition heated up for Warner Brothers and Disney Marvel. But, you know, we just saw last week, the publishing of Deadpool and Batman. So they're working again. Never thought I'd see it again, but they've come to the table. They figured out a way to do it. My only concern of all the people here, I know everybody probably thought I'd be super geeked about it, but having read quite a few of the crossovers, I'm a little pessimistic that we'll get a quality story, because it's always some kind of misunderstanding throws the two worlds together. They fight each other. Then there's a common enemy that comes in, and then they work together to get rid of that common enemy. Just like your most recent example, Godzilla versus Kong. So it could work, but I just wonder creatively how you would do that. It's almost an impossible task to please everybody, because you're going to upset some people with who you leave out or what role they serve in the movie. You have, because you got to remember, it's not just going to be the heroes. There's going to be the villains as well. There's got to be somebody for them to eventually unite against.
Yeah.
So I just don't see how you get all that in, and then throw on top of it that DC is now starting a recast of their popular characters, and Marvel is about 3 years away maybe from rebooting theirs. You know, after Secret Wars, they Kevin Feige has indicated that that's when they'll start looking at possibly recasting some of these roles. So you've got a long ways to wait. It's not going to happen within the next 5-6 years, I would say, if I had to put an estimate on it.
Okay.
However, if it did happen, some of the matchups I'd love to see: Batman and Iron Man together, Superman, Cap, Superman versus Hulk. Which, by the way, just anybody who's a Hulk fan out there, look it up. Hulk hasn't done very well versus Superman, so just facts there. Green Arrow and Hawkeye, just the characters that have a shared similarities. Nova and Green Lantern. The issue, again, with right now is who's going to play who. Because I don't know what Captain America you're going to use, how you're going to use Tony Stark, Iron Man in there. It's just... And then it would have to remain outside of the main continuity, because if you start trying to appease... It had to be like an Elseworlds, kind of like Matt Reeves' Batman is, because if you try to serve Marvel's overall story arc, you're going to be force-fed beats that you have to adhere to that may not line up. We've seen that with other projects that Marvel's done. So I think the niche of it would be kind of cool, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure it would be a good. I just don't see how you do it. I've been wrong before. I've said it before when James Gunn was announced for Superman. I said he can't do it. It would be terrible. I end up loving it. So, hey, if him and Feige can prove me wrong, more power to him. I just personally don't see how it could happen. But those are the people I'd like to see kind of going, oh, Nightwing and Spider-Man, that's an underrated couple I'd really like to see work together, because I just think it would just be cool to see those guys on the screen together. But we haven't even gotten a real Nightwing yet. So, okay. So I'll probably take up most of the time with that one. Jason, what are your thoughts?
It's all right that you took up a little more time, brother, because I think you had a lot more substantive to say than I'm going to.
So, Jason, tell us, what do you think it would take for this to come to fruition, the Marvel and DC collaboration?
Right.
How long do you think it would take? How far out are we from this happening? Mm-hmm. And then are there any DC and Marvel characters that you'd like to see collaborate? This is just us fanning out.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I heard Anthony say he doesn't see it for 5 or 6 years, my immediate reaction when I saw that you were going to ask us this question on the show is I don't see it happening. So if I'm gonna have to give a timeline, let's do a decade. It's just, and it's not even the licensing and things like that, but I hate to use the term. It's become a cliche at this point where people talk about superhero movie burnout. I don't think it's really a thing. I have not gotten excited over superhero movies the way I did the past decade. That being said, they're pretty much the only movies I actually go see in the theaters, even now. So I do get excited about them. But crossing over, with DC and Marvel, now we all know, I mean, even people who aren't as into comic books as Anthony know that these crossovers have been happening in the comics for decades. Obviously, the legal wrangling is not quite as extreme when you're talking about publishing as you are when you're talking about various studios that own different franchises. And now you got Warner Brothers and you got Disney. They have to come to some kind of agreement. And we remember how long it took for Sony and Disney to come to an agreement on Spider-Man. And then once the agreement was made, it took another, 2 years or 3 years before an actual movie came out featuring Spider-Man. So, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but the thing about the whole crossover idea is it comes off to me. Now, I just said that I don't experience superhero movie burnout. I do experience multiverse burnout. And this seems almost like another multiverse thing to me. Because they've really been hitting that multiverse hard. How many movies have we had now in the MCU where it's been like the primary focus, starting with Spider-Man Far From Home. Or was it Far From Home? No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. Where you had, the different villains coming back from previous Spider-Man movies and then other Spider-Man. So that's the way I kind of see it. I don't like that. They seem to have these trends that they do with the superhero movies. 10 years ago, it was de-aging old actors. You remember that? There was a de-aged somebody in every freaking MCU movie, starting with Kirk Douglas in Ant-Man, and then we got Kurt Russell. Did I say Kirk Douglas? Oh my gosh, Michael Douglas. Good Lord. But yeah, everyone was getting de-aged, and then 5 years after that, we got multiverse. Yeah, everything's got to be multiverse. I don't like it. I just don't. It just like Anthony was saying, the logistics of getting those universes together. There's got to be some kind of catastrophic event that brings them together. Then you have the problem with, I guess, how do I put this? Nerfing some of the characters. One example, a crossover that wasn't just comic books, was video game related. It was, if you remember, back in 2008, 2009, we had Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, and somehow they had to make it so Sonya Blade was able to beat Superman. I'm sorry, dude. I don't care what cosmic event happened. She ain't beating Superman. It's just not gonna happen. Then you have what happened with the Freddy versus Jason crossover back in like 2003, where you can't have one character beating the other because you're going to piss off one fan base over the other. There's so many of these things that come into play, man, and I'm actually confusing myself thinking of all of them. And I didn't write notes because every time I write notes I forget to look at them, so I'm probably forgetting something that I was thinking of to begin with. But I'm not going to be completely negative about it. I'm not going to talk like I wouldn't like to see it. But if you're just going to throw a bunch of characters together and see, I mean, why not put Image in there too? Let's get Spawn versus Spider-Man. See how that turns out. You know? So anyway, I apologize for being a little negative here. I don't really see it happening.
Okay.
If it were to happen, however, you know me, I'm a big Black Panther fan. Huge. I mean, I've loved the character since like I first discovered him, you know, started learning about him back in like 2009. And once the movie came out, people were talking about that he is the Batman of the Marvel universe. I didn't quite see it that way, but what I would love to see is Batman and Black Panther coming together using their brains, you know, to you know, against a common enemy like Anthony was talking about. That's a crossover I'd like to see. Plus, they could make it a really dark movie, and we all know that, you know, you could always get Snyder to direct that. If it's dark, he's ready. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I've rambled quite enough. Let's get some positivity in here with good old Taurus. What's up, man?
Well, I actually would love to see this happen. And I think there is a possibility of it happening, which is why I wanted to actually discuss this with you guys. Now, Anthony brought up some interesting and important points, that there is some talk of a potential sale of Warner Brothers. And some of the companies that are looking to purchase Warner Brothers now are Paramount, Skydance. Skydance has recently bought Paramount. They were able to close that deal, which was a pretty big deal. And they had to get President Trump's approval for it. And apparently Netflix is putting in a bid to purchase Warner Brothers as well. I'm not really sure if Warner Brothers is going to sell. The reason I say that is because over this year, they've had a historic box office that they've not experienced, I don't think, in their history at all. They had 7 movies that opened with over $40 million. They had the Minecraft movie, they had Sinners, Final Destination Bloodlines, F1 the movie, Superman, Weapons, and they've not experienced that. So they're in a really good position to where if they wanted to fend off being bought or merging with another company, they could actually do that. And that's what I'm hoping that they do. Because I think them standing on their own, they're producing good content and people are actually receptive to what they're producing. They're going to see their movies. So I'm hoping that doesn't actually happen. How long would what would it take for this to happen? What it would take is Marvel's already established the formula, and they're already there when it comes to their movies being a success, right? Their phases have already been successful. Yeah, they're kind of having a hard time as of late, but they've got their formula together and they know what works for them. DC hasn't established that just yet. DC needs to get there. James Gunn needs to get them there. They need some wins, and they're actually starting off really well. Superman was a hit for them. It made over, I think, 650 million. It's close to 700 million. Their TV shows are knocking it out of the park. People are really open and receptive to that. They have some movies that are going to be coming out down the line. This Clayface movie is going to be coming out soon. Supergirl's being worked on right now. You're bringing in Jason Momoa into the DCU as Lobo. So they're making the right moves. And James Gunn, I think, is proving that he's capable of doing what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy with this DC cinematic universe. And I'm happy to see that it's going well for them. But I think that's the first thing that they need to do. Marvel's already there, but DC needs to get there too. And once they've established their characters and people fall in love with their characters or want to see more of them, I think that's when the potential for there being a collaboration between Marvel and DC could actually happen. And they've already laid the groundwork for it happening. So you guys are saying, I don't know how this could happen. You know, how are they going to collide these universes? Well, that's the key word. Universe, right? DC has the pocket universe. If you've seen the Superman movie, you know that there's a way to bring these characters in through what they're establishing, because DC is going more fantastical. They're doing something extremely fantastical in their world building, and I absolutely love it. So they could do something with their pocket universe that they've established in Superman. And guess what the MCU has? The multiverse.
Yep.
Right? They've got the multiverse. So if they ever wanted to do, I'm not saying that it would you'd want it to be canon to what they're actually establishing for their main DC and Marvel stories. But Anthony stated what is absolutely true. These could be Elseworld stories. James Gunn has already said that he wants to do Elseworld stories in DC. That's what Matt Reeves' Batman is. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do other stories the same way. So they've already laid the groundwork for these two universes, for these two pop culture icons, entertainment media icons, to come together and do a collaboration with one another. We've never seen it, and people want it. Guarantee you it'll make money if they do it. They could do a financial split. If they do like a 2-movie contract where you do a one story with the MCU character being the main lead of that particular movie, then you do the second movie with the DC character being the main lead. They could do a financial split like they did with Sony and Spider-Man. Whenever Sony was in the MCU movies, all of the finances, all of the profit made went to the MCU. Whenever MCU characters went over to the Sonyverse, right, to the Spider-Man movie, Sony was the one that actually made all the profit from those movies. So there's already been groundwork laid to make this work. And I think they could do it as long as DC continues to do what they're doing in establishing really good movies and creating characters that people want to see on the big screen. So that's how I think it could happen. How long is this going to take to happen? Let's say this merger does not go through, and I'm really hoping it doesn't. If it does not happen, and even if it does, I really do think whoever purchases it would see the benefit in something like this happening if they leave James Gunn in the driver's seat as one of the main directors and leads of the DC studio. It would probably be about 8 to 10 years. I think it would probably take anywhere from, I'll say 7 to 10 years, because let's give DC a good 7 years, a good, say, 4 or 5 movies to establish what they're doing with their universe, and then talks with Marvel to start, right? I think anywhere from, say, 7 to 10 years. And if Marvel keeps improving, like they've done with the Fantastic Four, I like the Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts is okay, right? If they continue to improve with their upcoming phases, if they improve when they introduce the mutants into the MCU, they introduce the X-Men, I think there's a strong possibility for things to work to where these two gigantic and well-loved companies can come together and create something that every fan wants to see. Now, what characters would I actually like to see in a crossover movie? There are a few, but I'll tell you some of my favorites I would like to see, and I'm hoping that one day they bring this character back. Give us a Steve Rogers, Captain America, and whoever James Gunn establishes as his Batman. And we already know that he's going to be a really big, thick guy.
Yeah.
Let's get that going. Let's get that Batman and Captain America movie going, because these two going at one another, whoo-wee.
That's a good one, Taurus. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
That would be something to see, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. Another one that I would love to see. Now, I'd love to see these guys get together and do something. I don't want to see the Hulk and Superman. This Mark Ruffalo Hulk is weak. I don't want to see him fight Superman. He get a tail kick. You know what I mean? Let's not do that. But the MCU Thor is actually a pretty powerful character. And the Superman of James Gunn's DCU, he's not the godlike character that you typically see Superman being. He's very powered down. He's very young. So he can be beat. He was beat in his own movie that just recently came out. So I want to see maybe see them fight in the beginning, and then they have to come together to fight some overarching enemy. And of course, this would be an Elseworld movie of some sort. That's something I would love to see. I'd love to see these two characters do something, because DC is establishing Lobo. Jason Momoa is gonna be Lobo in the DCU. The Incredible Hulk in the MCU isn't a godlike, all-encompassing character. He's been beat. Thanos beat him to a pulp where he didn't even want to come out of Banner's body anymore.
Yeah.
Right? He's not as powerful as we're used to seeing. So I think a Lobo and an Incredible Hulk, I want to see the Edward Norton Hulk, actually. If I had to fan out on the Hulk that I would like to see, it's that Edward Norton Hulk fighting Lobo. That would be a fantastic crossover movie. Like I said, however they do the crossover, I don't care. It can be a versus in the beginning, and maybe they come together, got to fight some overarching enemy, or maybe they never become friends, right? Another one that I would like to see, and this is actually something that's happened in the comic books a few times. I think that this would be an interesting pairing. And we've already seen him with one other character, but the reason I think this is likely, this possibly could happen, there's some probability to this happening, is because Marvel already has the character established in the MCU, and he's one of the most popular characters in the MCU. And DC is getting ready to drop who is going to be their Batman. I'm pretty sure they're going to premiere in this Clayface movie. But I think doing a Batman and Deadpool movie would be kind of an interesting thing to see. Of course, you got Deadpool, who's extremely fantastical. He's a mutant. Batman isn't. But like I said, the world that James Gunn is establishing for his DC it's a fantastical world. They got pocket universes with all these different creatures coming from different universes. So you could see the possibility of there being a Batman and Deadpool movie. So Marvel and DC has done many crossovers, as Anthony stated, in the comic books. Now I think it's time for us to see this on the big screen. If there's ever been a moment where it could happen, it's now. James Gunn, Kevin Feige, they're good friends. Kevin Feige rehired James Gunn after the firing fiasco that happened after Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Brought him back for 3. 3 was a smash success. So, and then when James Gunn was thinking of taking the job as the co-head of DC Studios, the first person he reached out to was Kevin Feige to talk about doing it. So they've got a relationship. So if there's anybody or any two people that can make that happen, it's them two. But the last thing that I want to bring up, and this is something that I really think could happen, because the way that these franchises, this one particular franchise has been going, people have been falling in love with this franchise. And I'm speaking of myself more than anybody else. But I'm pretty sure there are other people that are loving this new invigoration, of this character. They own 20th Century Fox, right? Disney owns 20th Century, not 20th Century Fox, but 20th Century Studios. And as of late, there's been a new crossover event going on in the MCU, in the Marvel Comics, with Predator versus specific Marvel characters. Predator kills the Marvel Universe. I want to see the Predator take on these Marvel characters. Now, in the series that they've actually established, one of the first books that they did was Predator versus Wolverine. And after they did Predator versus Wolverine, they continued that with another pretty popular Marvel character. And that was a pretty popular book as well. People really started to fall in love with what they were doing with these crossovers, with 20th Century and with Marvel. So Predator versus Black Panther, they did that. And like I said, they own these characters. So there's absolutely the possibility that we could actually see, I'm not saying it's not DC and Marvel, it's 20th Century Studios and Marvel, but there is absolutely the possibility of us seeing this. Another one that they actually did, that was the kind of the final versus in the Predator universe, was Predator versus Spider-Man, right? So Predator versus Spider-Man was another big book within this crossover. And then after they did that, they then went on and they did Predator Kills the Marvel Universe. Right? And man, you want to talk about just a fantastic franchise to pair up in a crossover. And with Disney already owning both of these properties, I think that's something, if Dan Trachtenberg, who's in charge of these Predator movies, if he continues on the trail that he's been on, creating fantastic stories, we could eventually see Predator and the MCU crossover.
Hey, Taurus, you know what I just thought of? So, do you remember, and I own this whole 4-book series, Archie versus Predator. You remember that?
I do.
Now, doesn't Warner Brothers own some of the rights to Riverdale?
Truthfully, I don't know, Jason.
So if Warner Brothers
I don't know
cut
if
a
Warner
deal,
Brothers owns them, because I think 20th Century owns Predator. So I think Marvel might have at one time owned the Archie franchise. I don't want to speak out of turn. I really
I don't know. All I'm saying is that if there was a possibility, then I might have to change up what I want to see, because I think Archie versus Predator needs a live action. It definitely needs an adaptation.
We all have hopes, Jason. We all have hopes.
That's true.
I'm not going to denounce you for wanting yours.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised, man. I don't know if you've seen those Archie versus Predator books. They're extremely violent and gory. I was not expecting it. I thought it'd be like a cute little parody, but nah. No, it was rough.
Listen, anything with Predator in it, it is not going to be a cute parody.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, guys. So that was the main topic for this episode. Now what I'd like to do, I'd like for us to move it on to open forum.
Calling all video game, movie, TV, and home theatre fans. You're listening to the Fun Waste of Time podcast, where we love to talk shop about your favourite hobbies and all the fun ways to waste your day.
All right, guys. So now we are coming to the close of the episode. But before we do, we would like to do open forum. Open forum is just whatever the fellas want to share with the audience that maybe you would eventually like to experience as well. We're going to start out with our good buddy Anthony, and I have a good idea of what he's going to share. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off with him with this.
DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, The Fun Waste of Time, Comic Book Pull List.
All right, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and take us away, good buddy?
Hey, I just noticed. I think you need to add Boom in there as well.
Boom.
You have to
You've been
recut
talking
that.
a lot about Boom characters these days.
Yeah.
That's true.
Matter of fact, Boom produces the House of Slaughter, the Butcher trilogy deluxe edition, which is what I'm going to talk about today. This is a companion story, if you will, spin-off of Something is Killing the Children. So it's a little different than I was expecting. Again, I've been trade waiting on this series and on Something's Killing the Children. So I was under the impression prior to the release that this would be a typical chronological release, but it's actually not. This actually collects different stories in the what's called the Butcher's trilogy, which is the House of Slaughter 1 through 5, 11 through 15, and then skips ahead to 21 through 25. So as a result, the focus is not actually the House of Slaughter as it is in the title. It's actually Jace Boucher, who's from Boucher, if it is. I don't know how you really say it.
Bobby Boucher.
Boucher. Yeah.
But he's from the House of Boucher. That's him right there. So it's his story. It overlaps with the House of Slaughter and how he actually joins there and then ultimately takes his revenge on the House of Slaughter. So James Tynion actually receives a co-writer credit for this story, but I believe Tate Brumball is actually the writer, but due to the fact that it takes place in the world that James Tynion created and has a lot of guest appearances by his characters, is why he got a co-writing credit. The book starts off a little slow. Jace is a legacy hunter, and he's, for those familiar with the house orientation from Something's Killing the Children, he's a white mask, and it starts off with his relationship with Aaron Slaughter, which most of us who've read, like I said, the Something is Killing the Children books are familiar with, and it's about their relationship. And there is a small cameo from Erica Slaughter, who's the main character from Something's Killing the Children. You see her a few times, but she's usually in the background. But after a while, the story does get better, and it has some interesting twists and turns, but it definitely does miss Tynion's trademark style and his writing style. So it was a good book, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It's a good companion story or side story. That's how I look at it, more as a side story. I think I would have preferred it had it followed a natural chronological order, because it does feel kind of like it jumps back and forth, and the way it aligns. I understand that Jace is the actual focus of the story, but because of how his story takes place and the beats, you get a sense that other things are happening. It's almost like a tie-in. Whenever you've read those major comic book events and you read those and you kind of feel like, okay, there's some details I'm missing here because I haven't read this other tie-in. That's the kind of sense I got from reading this one. So I'm not sure what was missed. Normally I would probably, except again, I trade weighted this one thinking that it would catch me up all the way with the House of Slaughter. I was really interested in the different masks and the actual ways that the houses operate, and you do get a flavor for that in this, because you talk about Jace's original house, and then the House of Slaughter is kind of mentioned, and you do learn some things about the old dragon. But I guess I wanted a more linear story that kind of explored all that. But overall, wasn't a bad read. Just when you see Tynion's name on the title as well, you kind of think that it's going to be the same type story or the same type beats that you get from Something's Killing the Children, and it's a little different. But it was an enjoyable read. Just keep those things in mind before you start reading the story, and I think you'll be fine. Jason, how about you?
Not much for me, man. I will expand a little bit on my outfit here. I just want to make it clear to the audience that I wasn't gonna wear my yukata today. The boys kind of talked me into it. But we are at the midway point right now, the September Grand Sumo Tournament, which I always get really excited about. And I know that it's kind of a niche thing, sumo. But, I've been into it. I liked it when I was younger. But I've really been into it for the last 4 years or so. And the more you learn about it, the more you tend to enjoy it. I know Anthony watched a little bit of it when he lived overseas in Okinawa. But about the halfway point is where it starts getting exciting. And so each tournament is 15 days. And you have to just come out with... I mean, obviously, the objective is to win every fight that you're in. But you really need to come out with a winning record to keep from getting demoted. And it's a whole thing that I could do an entire episode on trying to explain sumo, and even I don't understand all of it. So if you did by some chance want to at least kind of dip your toes into it, you can download the NHK World Japan app. You can get it on your TV, you can get it on your Roku, anything like that. Every evening they will post about a 30-minute highlights reel of the day's matches from the top division, which is obviously the most popular. And you can just watch it. It's got English commentary. They're pretty good at explaining things, and you might enjoy it. I realize it's something that, people probably won't get into, but I like it. And so it's one of the few sports I actually that I actually can watch. And frankly, sumo wrestlers were the first professional athletes that ever existed. So there's a little if you're interested in a little bit of history, there's something that might interest you about sumo. But yeah, that's it for me, man. Getting excited about that. We've got one more week left. It gives me something to look forward to every day, when I, with the drudgery of my job and all that. I know I can get off work and finally watch the sumo. So, yep, that's it, man. What about you, Taurus?
Well, I actually did have an open forums item to discuss with you guys this month, but I'm going to hold off and discuss it next month. The reason I'm doing that is because as I was piecing together what I was going to share with you, I got an email about something that potentially could improve what I was going to discuss.
No.
So I will wait until next month when I have it all worked out and all together. I'm looking forward to sharing with you. It is home theater related.
Cool.
So pretty excited to share that with you guys, but I will wait until next month to do so.
Thanks.
But I think that's all, guys. Anything else that you guys want to share? Did we cover everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing, Jason, just so you know, Archie Comics is still owned by Archie Comics Publishing.
Nuts.
But they have Warner Brothers did have an agreement with them to produce Riverdale, so it's not an overarching, like they can just produce whatever content. They would have to go back to Archie Comics.
Makes sense,
negotiate that.
Well, thank you for clearing that up, man. Appreciate it.
Well, there you go.
I Googled it real quick.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you this episode. If you're watching us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to join in with us the next time. If you're listening, be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. But that's all we have for you this episode. We look forward to getting with you next month. You all have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.